Hey everybody, welcome to Optimism Fractal. We're here at our season 2 finale. Welcome. This is our 24th event, and I'm so pleased to be here with good friends Abraham and Natalie and Jason and Jake and Rosemary and Joe. Welcome, Joe. Welcome, everybody. Jake is joining for the first time. He's doing awesome work. Everybody's doing awesome work here. So if anyone wants to say hello or anything like that, then feel free. Otherwise, I'll share a quick presentation and then we'll get into the respect game and everything like that as well. All right, so in this presentation, I'll share a little bit about Optimism Fractal. For anyone who's not familiar, you can check out optimismfractal.com, which recently got, it's in the process of being updated. And so there's some new things here. You see a Notion page up in the top right corner too, where people can get involved. For anyone who's not involved, or for anyone who's not familiar, Optimism Fractal is a community that's dedicated to fostering collaboration and awarding public goods creators and optimism. And we're creating abundance and amazing experiences and helping public goods creators. It's a great place to meet optimists at our weekly events that we host on Thursdays at 17 UTC and network and make friends and collaborate with innovators in Optimism Collective. And also a great place to earn respect, playing the respect game. So each week we play a game where everybody shares what they've been doing to help optimism for a few minutes, and then we collaborate to rank each other's contributions and which I just said. And then everybody who played earns a respect token if you can reach consensus, and you earn more by helping optimism more. For anyone who's not familiar, we'll go over that a bit more, but I think everybody here knows how to do it. And it's also an awesome place to promote your work too, because we produce videos of every weekly meeting as well and share them to help promote everybody who is doing great work, and we're growing optimism together. Some new parts of the website, as I mentioned, it's a place where you can learn how you can contribute to public goods too. There is the link to the Notion site here too, where you can learn more about our community and explore various ways you can get involved. And also by participating in Optimism Fractal, well, for one thing, Optimism Fractal can help you earn retro funding for whatever kinds of public goods you create. And then also by contributing to Optimism Fractal, you can also potentially earn retro funding too if there is impact to the Optimism Collective. There's some links here where you can learn more. And we'll discuss that more. And we also have a community governance, the Optimism Fractal Council, where we are doing decision making and coordinating the future of Optimism Fractal. We have some new articles where you can learn more about that too. And of course, the tools that we use to play these consensus games on the OP mainnet every week too. So Optimystics, the team that started Optimism Fractal in the first place, put out a tweet each week where we encourage you to read and like and share with friends and so forth. Talking about how we're celebrating the end of the second season and how we're welcoming everyone to the 2-week spring break. We'll be taking a 2-week break after this. We use our consensus process that I just mentioned to approve this proposal, which I'll briefly mention here too. And you can also learn a bit more about retro funding and the opportunities too from this post that Rosemary just put out on the Optimism Governance Forum too, where you can learn more about how Optimism Fractal and retro funding synergize, and also what retro funding is. For anybody who's not familiar, check out optimism.io, and you can learn more about it in the most recent article. It's an excellent opportunity for public goods creators to receive funding for the work that they're doing. And there's several rounds coming up related to helping with Onchain Builders, the OP stack governance and dev tooling that we discussed in recent meetings too, that you can find on optimismfractal.com/media and in the Discord where you can find the new videos. We also post on Warpcast too, so recommend people check it out. Awesome social media network, and we have an Optimism Fractal channel here where everybody can get involved. And I'm going to share a little bit about this proposal that was passed before we go into the respect game. So basically, just last week, we discussed the idea of introducing seasons for Optimism Fractal, and we agreed to call the first two 12-week stretches season 1 and season 2. And so this is the end of the second season. And you can see the proposal that was passed here. It was approved with unanimous vote from the 4 councilors, who was me, Tadas, Hadlan, and Rosemary. And you can find a bit more about the discussion where we discuss this in the post and so forth. So for anyone who's not familiar, you can check out that to learn more. And you can see the councilors. Everybody's welcome if you've earned respect to register to be a council member. And you can learn more about how that works on that new page about councilors too, where you can learn how this works, as well as check out some videos where we first initiate this council process too, and how it could be useful for other communities. So you can find the rules there and everything like that. And also just moments ago, the Optimism Foundation announced 10 million OP tokens for retro funding round 4 are incoming too. So encourage people to check it out, and perhaps we can talk about it a little bit during the respect game or afterwards in the planning session as well. I forgot to mention, or I forgot to bring that up on my screen actually, but we will have a planning session. We'll be doing the respect game for the first hour. And then 50 minutes from now, we'll have the planning session where we'll discuss and coordinate the future of Optimism Fractal for anybody who wants to stick around as well, and we can have an open discussion or talk about the seasons and so forth. I suppose one last thing that I'll share before we get into the respect game is the Notion site. In case somebody's not familiar, I mentioned that a couple of times, but I just gave it an update, and so now it's a little bit more well organized, and there's an education hub and development hub where you can get more involved, and also the projects are also more easy to see too. So there's lots of projects and tasks that you can get involved with if you're interested in contributing, or if you're interested in just learning more about Optimism Fractal, and happy to discuss it. So what we'll do now is we'll play the respect game. You can learn more about this at optimistics.io/respect game. We have some video tutorials here. Basically, each person will share, we'll go into breakout groups because we'll have 8 people, so 2 groups of 4 people each, and then each person will take about 4 minutes to share what they've done to help optimism, or just generally introduce yourself. And then we'll work to reach consensus on who helped the most, the second most, the third most, and the fourth most, and so forth. And people receive more respect for getting higher levels. And you can learn more about this on the details page for the exact overview of how it works and stuff like that. So that's it. This was a little bit longer. Last time I had a really short presentation, but I was a little bit fumbling around. So thanks everybody for being here, and hope that you enjoy the presentation, and hope that you're ready for the season finale of Optimism Fractal and ready to play the respect game. Welcome, Zaal. Thanks for joining. And we will get into the breakout rooms. I'll open them now.
I'm like, nice hair.
It's a bit messy.
Hello, hello. Yeah, Jake does have very cool hair. I was able to witness it in person, actually, and I can attest that it looks just as cool in person as on camera. And Natalie has very cool hair too, although right now she has a little bit of blur effect going on where it's
I have a bun. I have a bun.
Oh, you have a bun going on? Okay, cool. I like your
Yeah.
background too. I don't know what's going on, but it looks like there's somebody's looking, and they're very cool and colorful. Very interesting artwork you have there.
It's Cobra he painted that during the Olympics to represent Brazil's diversity, also political protest.
Interesting. Yeah, it looks like heavy chains there, or heavy earrings, something like that. Interested to learn more. I hadn't heard about Cobra before. And welcome, Jason. Good to see you.
Incredible street artist. Welcome, Jason.
Cool. Well, I look forward to seeing the street art maybe someday. And if there's anything else you want to share about it now, then feel free, or anybody else wants to share. But otherwise, we can also start playing the respect game too, and share what we've been up to. Is anybody well, first I should say, Jake, do you have anything on your mind? I know we talked about it, and so I think you have a pretty good understanding of how it works. Anything? Is there any kind of like questions you want to ask, or anything else on your mind before we start playing?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'll just let you guys take the lead, and then I will follow today as I learn the ropes, and then go from there.
All right. Sounds good. Jason?
I got the notification on screen that was different than I've ever seen before. What was that?
I don't know. What did it say?
When you join the breakout room, you guys see pop up on the screen saying something about screen sharing?
I don't know, but actually you remind me that I have to give everybody access to screen sharing, so thank you for doing that.
I saw something where it was like sharing something. I don't know if it was screen. It was like sharing your activity with Dan, I think is what it was.
Oh yeah, I'm hacking into your computer so I can see everything you're doing. No, I'm just joking. I have no awareness. I know Zoom does updates of like I downloaded an update for Zoom last week, so maybe there's something that Zoom might be viewing your screen at every moment. I usually try to close Zoom after the meeting so that I limit privacy concerns with Zoom. So maybe that's something they're saying that they might do. I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyway, well, hopefully it will all work out well, and hopefully that notification will be helpful. And I suppose we should start playing the game then. And if there's anything we can troubleshoot, or send a letter to the Zoom corporate office or something like that, maybe. Does anybody want to go first and share what they've been doing to help optimism, or just generally just what you've been up to? Perhaps if Jason or Natalie wanted to go first. Jake said that he would follow our lead, and I've been talking a lot, so it might be good to hear from Jason or Natalie if you're up for it. I can go if you want, but I encourage Natalie or Jason to go if you'd like.
I'm looking for a visual cue from Natalie. Are you shaking your head in the direction? I will go first.
Oh.
I'll nominate. I'll be happy to. I think that the effect on optimism for everything I've done in the past week is probably like zero. I don't really interact with the DAO. I'm not really involved with optimism quite directly. You know what I mean? Um, I appreciate it from a distance. I can see part of what's happening and I don't fully understand it. For what I understand of it, I feel as though they're looking for sort of like a Gantt chart concept where there's some overlap between what investment capital can fetch a return with and what is also that. From that, I've learned a lot from thinking about what that is, thinking about where that overlap area is. I've learned a lot, just sort of visualizing it, letting the thought return, exploring where the thought leads. And it seems like it's kind of just like middle of the road politics in a way where what's in the people's interest and is also a good investment seems like it should be like an automatic yes, like an easy yes. That it's the kind of thing that a super majority of people support. It's the kind of idea that you get 80% or 90% of support for, you know? And so coming up with a governance process that discovers those things in particular, develops those plans, incentivizes the work of thinking it through to develop those plans in detail, where there is that overlap, I think is a sensible exercise that I enjoy returning to. And people involved in the Optimism Fractal are all very I don't know what, positive and interesting. So I am here for that reason. And because it's the end of the season too, So um, what I've been up to lately, what I've been doing is I've continued with the meetup that I host called Crypt Oasis, where it's a formless type of discussion. It's just I don't know who to expect anytime. The conversation could be anything. I try to keep it on topic of alternative and decentralized technologies. Right. What I do at Crypt Oasis is I try to familiarize everyone with these suppressed technologies, with the lesser known technologies, and it's been a real treat. So that doesn't really quite interact with optimism, is what I'm saying. It's just kind of its own thing in its own lane. Uh, through that meetup that I host, I treat it like it's my own little study group, right? Where things that I'm studying, I find others who are interested in learning the same. And often I find myself interested in what other people are working on too. And so there are some really inspiring efforts that are in the alternative technologies spaces. I'm sure we all know, I'm sure we can all expound on that people are motivated for various inspiring reasons and they do really amazing things. And it, um, I don't know what to say next. I guess that's it. It is formless. So I guess I still have like a minute left to say I guess what I'm hoping for, what I think is possible with decentralization, right? And that developing the details of these plans is that everyone has preferences, and that what's good for people who have purchasing power. What's bad for people is to be oppressed by the purchasing power of others, And so um, there's a sense of urgency as much as a sense of inspiration. What I'm hoping for to discover that is a good governance process. I believe in Fractally as a good sounding board. It's like Sociocracy 3.0, right? It gets around to everybody and we hear from everybody. So it's good.
Well said. Thank you very much, Jason. And I'll also add to I really appreciate you joining last week's meeting and helping to lead the discussion too. And I'd say that's a big contribution to optimism as well, very much helping get Optimism Fractal. So thank you for that. And thank you for all the work that you're doing in general and wise words. would you like to pass it on to somebody to go next? Also, your internet's not like perfect. You broke up a little bit there. Now you look like a little bit fuzzy, but it's good enough generally. But did you hear me about picking somebody to go next?
Oh yeah. Okay. Well, I'll choose. Natalie still looks shy, so I'll choose you, Dan. You've had a break, and then you'll have to choose next.
Okay, this sounds good. Unless Natalie wants to volunteer, then of course you're welcome to. But I'll go ahead next.
He picked you. I am not shy at all. I'm over here eating secretly in my little corner, but go ahead, Dan.
Oh, okay. That's why you're positioned low in the camera, so you can. Okay. Well, I hope you enjoy your meal. Okay, so I'll go ahead and give some, I suppose, dinner time entertainment or something here. And I'll share what I've been up to here at Optimism Fractal and with Optimystics. So I've been working a lot in the Notion page. I should also mention too, I've been working a lot for Optimystics, which is the team that started Optimism Fractal, as I said before, and I host the weekly meeting for Optimystics too. And we've been doing lots of progress, making lots of progress working with some potential clients and organizations who are interested in implementing the respect game too. So a lot of the work's been kind of behind the scenes in developing the application for the respect game, as I've been talking about over the past several weeks. And that is going well. But one of the main things I'm working on outside of that is working in the Optimism Fractal Notion site, which I upgraded, as I said before. I've been experimenting with different sorts of galleries in the Optimism Fractal Notion page. So, and putting together like a resource section at the top that makes it easier for people to find. Actually, I mean, it looked better when I put it like that, actually. So I'm gonna move that right there as I do that. So it's easier to find like all the helpful resources. I put together the Education Development Hub over the past few weeks and just touch these up, and like I'm just constantly working on these, basically provide places where people can get involved in educating at Optimism Fractal and also developing with Optimism Fractal, as well as planning to do other kinds of hubs and other sort of main pages like funding opportunities and so forth like that. And then, like I showed, I'm constantly adding projects and adding tasks to different projects here, and I made it easier to see the different kinds of tasks that are involved with the broad level overview and projects. And then for each of these, you can like click into it and then learn more. There's also an upvote feature too that we're trying to integrate with respect as well. Right now it just has one person, one vote, but that's there as well. And then, yeah, each of these have a lot of projects. So I think everybody here is pretty familiar with that, or most people at least, but this is where I spend a lot of my time these days. I don't have my timer on, by the way, because there's an issue. So I'll try to stay within 4 minutes, but feel free to let me know if I'm going a bit long. I also updated the Optimism Fractal website too, as I showed before. I added the section about the Notion page so that people can get more involved, because previously it was kind of more difficult to find it. And then I also added a section about impact equals profit, because one of the things we're aiming to do with this new seasonal structure is align more with retro funding and help people who participate in Optimism Fractal earn from retro funding by promoting their projects. We did that a lot with the retro pitches last season, which we'll probably add here as well. And then also with the impact evaluation of the respect game and many other things. So curating ways that people can do that, and also have a project about that in the Notion site as well. And then I also put together this article about our council process too, so that people can kind of see more of the value propositions of Optimism Fractal right from the beginning. This will be updated a lot more, but I put together this basic article that explains how the council works, so electing 6 council members each week and so forth, and then snapshot space and the past videos I showed before too. So all this was written or put together just recently over the past week. I also worked a lot in the respect article too. And I was working with speaking with somebody from LivePeer, which is a decentralized video service. And I figured I'd give an update to the respect article to explain what is respect and explain like the benefits of it, what you can do with it in terms of decentralized governance, as Jason was talking about, as well as collective action. Worked on a lot in this article about respect trees, which is a framework that Tadas, who's one of the developers on the Optimistics team, is working on to make it so that people can vote on, say, Snapshot or Notion and so forth, on prioritizing different projects and tasks, as well as different projects in the Optimism Collective. I had a section about impact evaluation and innovative games like retro pitch, like I mentioned. So basically curating a lot of resources here and better explaining the benefits of Optimism Fractal and fractals in general, so that people can start their own fractals or join Optimism Fractal and earn funding from doing so, and get involved to really like foster an open source kind of collaborative project where we're all working together. So over the past week, I've created, I think, 6 projects here. I have this sorted here where you can see it. There's one build Optimism Fractal app where I was providing feedback to the PR, the project requirement document, I think it's called, that Hadlan had created. That's over here. And there's also a lot more that I've been doing here too. I'm planning to merge an internal Optimistics project here with the project so that everybody can get involved with helping to build this app, whoever's interested in doing so. And then, yeah, there's several other projects here about promotions and opportunities for community engagement and so forth that people can look into. And then a bunch of tasks that I also completed this week too. I think there's more too, but for whatever reason, it's not showing more because I've been working pretty much full time on this most part, but I've also been traveling too. So I took a bit of time off. I also think of promoting or doing a workshop at DAO Spring, but that's kind of like a work in progress. I just responded there, and then host Eating Fractal events every week or two. And we talked about seasonal strategy. This is a fractal that we've been doing for the past just about 2 years now, and we promote Optimism Fractal every week there. So yeah, I promoted that, and then I posted a cool topic. So I suppose that's it. I've probably been going for a while. Oh, this is a message I also sent to people at Live Beer, but that's it for now. And curious to hear, Natalie, if you want to go next, or Jake, if you're ready. Either way, happy to hear.
Yeah, sure, I can go. You are chugging along.
Yes.
I'm super excited to see all the I gotta run through everything, but yeah, I just wanted to appreciate you for all the hard work. I know you've been spending 8,000 hours a day on this.
Thank you.
So, it looks yeah,
Not
I'll
quite
share
that much, but yes.
this is what 8,000 hours a day, commit to it.
Yeah.
um so I'm just getting back from NFT NYC. I was in New York for like 2 weeks, and so hosting some kind of DAO workshops, and I'm honestly just getting my bearings back. New York sucked the life out of me. And so what I'm working on now is a public goods funding platform, which will at the moment will rely on like Optimism, but ultimately because of I'm just gonna keep it funky, the governance structure of how they fund projects on Optimism, I do have to like make it multi-chain and kind of allow people to push whatever kind of crypto they want to their projects, just because it's not sustainable for me as somebody who's under-resourced and comes from an impoverished background to actually like lay up a humongous project such as this. But I've finally like secured some devs, some real ones, that can actually participate, and we just built the wireframes for that. And so mainly my job at the moment is mainly just like onboarding kind of our first because we too will have what is it called, seasons, to at least in the beginning, to be able to fuel that. So we've onboarded while I was in New York some pretty nice and incredible like creators to be kind of the first like cohort of pushing this out and announcing like our big this is like the alpha public goods funding kind of platform, because at the end of the day, like my thing is that we need to build kind of the cultural layer of optimism and also like Web3 as a whole, and that means that we actually value creators in their work, and we actually value people who some of their work is actually like can't be measured on chain per se. And so like I'm just kind of trying to like fuel creativity on chain in ways that I haven't seen previously, in a way that's like equitable too. And so I'm just building this platform. It's kind of like Kickstarter meets public goods of Web3, and so I'm very excited to be able to solidify and contractually my devs, and also I got a girl doing branding. So I've just been working very hard, 8,000 hours a day on just that type of work. And then I spun up a Telegram that I'm still iffy on, because I'm like, now I gotta be a Telegram all day. And so I'm working on all that stuff, and then I'm also working on the DAO Spring stuff too. And so not maybe Optimism specific, but if you know anyone who wants to spin up DAOs, I'm probably going to be working mostly on like marketing and comm stuff for that. And so feel free to hit me up. We'll post on Farcaster too. But just bringing more DAOs on board onto Optimism, I think, can really shift and hold space for like that. How do we hold value in terms of like DAOs in the next iteration of those? And so I'm really excited to work on DAO Spring with people call him Pet, but it's actually Peter. So yeah, I'm excited to work on that too. So that's it. I just been working hard on a website as a non-technical person with a bunch of technical people. That's it.
Super cool. Thank you, Natalie. Also working 8,000 hours a day. Very nice to hear.
Yeah.
And sounds like the progress is going great. I remember you mentioned that you worked on that project last month or so, last time we spoke. So glad to hear that it's going well, it sounds like, and you work with devs and all the great stuff. I apologize. I'm a little bit disorganized today. I forgot to put the timer. So I think you probably took around 4 minutes. If there's anything else you wanted to add, then feel free.
No, I took up a lot of time. It's Jake, it's on you.
Okay, sounds good.
Thank you, everybody, for going first. That helped a lot. Okay. Share screen. So I think. Okay, so you guys are able to see everything?
Yes, I see GitHub.
Cool. Okay. Excuse me. So what I have done in the past week or past few weeks, it all conglomerates together, is I've contributed to the Scaffold ETH2 repository, just making issues and pull requests. Scaffold ETH2 is a web framework for creating Web3 dApps. I'm not going to try and shill it too much, just explain it. But I've contributed a lot there. It's getting more involved. I really think it is a useful tool that a lot of developers coming into Web3 should be utilizing. It takes up a lot of lift. So I've done a lot of work there. And then elsewhere, and it said none of these are truly optimism focused. But I am building on Optimism on base. So I'm definitely within the ecosystem, especially with the Rep and Rolls project. This project actually received a grant from Optimism themselves during season 4, cycle 15 of the grant program. And so I'm still just building that out, hopefully getting it finished within the next few months. But it's the reputation project, a way to track trust on chain and grant roles based on that track trust that ultimately give you special access to certain authorities and responsibilities, like maybe you can edit a Charmverse document, or what else? Become a multi-sig signer for the DAO or something of the sorts. So I put in a lot of work on that. I've started building out a documentation website, got a 5-minute plug and play demo, YouTube video, and the repository is forkable. You can get something up and running in about 5 minutes, which is great. Going even more, I guess, degen-y. Again, I guess I'll include these as they are being built on base. And at least when I interact with projects, I like to have a I don't like the degen-y aspects of everything, so I try and spin my own spin on everything. So like for this project, hopefully there's not too much speculation. There's not people are buying the NFT PFP project in order to because they think it's cool. They like the community, and they want to be here because maybe they're stoners and they like to. It's just a part of the culture. It becomes a cultural movement rather than a way to make money. However, I believe this project is subject to the speculatory aspects that a lot of meme coins and regular coins and NFTs tend to have. But this is being really, I worked on this website and smart contracts in the last week. It's set to release on 4/20. And then the final project that I will showcase is the digitalshirtlounge.com. I built this website out for a friend from the Web2 world who makes music and puts it on Web2 services and makes art, merchandise, t-shirts, all kinds of stuff. And just trying to get him more on chain. So again, what I've done is put his first album entirely on chain. And this project thankfully has escaped all of the speculatory aspects, where each mint is exactly 25 cents and it's unlimited mints. So there's no reason to really go to secondary sales. And I am out of time. Thank you, guys.
Wow.
Very cool. Thank you, Jake. By the way, if there's anything else you wanted to add to, feel free to take a bit longer. It's like there's only 4 of us, so when there's 6 people, we have to be like very careful with the formats. But if you or anybody else wanted to add anything else, that's not too long, then feel free.
Sure. I think I actually was just finishing up. Yeah, just with this project specifically, that I'm very proud of it because the focus is on the creator. A lot, what you're seeing a lot, you know, NFTs are meant to promise creators like their NFTs were introduced as a way to support creators in the proper way. And I think that was introduced back in like 21 or 22. And since then, I feel like NFT projects have kind of lost track of that vision and it's all just speculatory assets. And so, and so like in order to even get involved with NFTs, you need a lot of money. And your average artist isn't going to have a lot of money. If anything, they're living paycheck to paycheck. So if we can create a platform, create the technology that properly supports them, and allows them to be onboarded into Web3 and give them the actual benefits of smart contracts and NFTs, then we do great. We do great things. So that's kind of the vision with all of that. And with that, I'll let others speak.
All right, sounds great. Thank you, Jake, very much. Really exciting work you're doing, and great leadership you're sharing too. Natalie throwing up the heart, I see too. So great to see. Now I'm going to start the fractalgram group as well, where we can form consensus, and then I'll be ready in a moment. I also see Natalie talked about Pizza Dao. I think that she saw there was a pizza restaurant and one of those NFTs there. So Natalie, I don't know if you want to share what you just wrote there out loud so everybody can hear it. That would be cool. Or if anybody has any questions or comments for anybody, then now's a good time to also ask or share as well.
Yeah, quick thing. Jake, is this live already where we can actively support, or is this going to be a drop that's happening in the near future? Because I'm happy to share out to my communities or whatever going on.
Which project?
What is going on with my mic? The one that you showed with the musician. I mean, any project that you have going on, I'm happy to share. Like, obviously, but
Sure.
whatever. So
I'm sharing them in the chat. Am I okay to share them in the chat?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, feel free to share any links here. Also feel free to share them in the Discord too, if you'd like to, for everybody else to see it in the group too. But very cool to see Wheaties.wtf and digitalshirtlounge.com. And then also Natalie had shared Pizza Dao revving up for Bitcoin Pizza Day on May 22nd and threw pizza parties in over 117 cities across the globe. And she shared twitter.com/pizza_DAO, where everybody can get involved in Twitter or on Telegram and so forth, Discord. Very cool.
Yeah, you can hit me up if you have like a local community that you rock with and you want to just like throw pizzas. We'll send you, or the pizza place. So look, we don't do chains. Like $625 to get free pizza. And then it's no strings attached, no weird stuff. And so we did this last year in like 117 cities. I am mostly lead social impact, but it's not just Bitcoin people, it's people across like all chains. Was like Arbitrum. We have some Optimism people. I know some people are doing some Optimism NFTs, I think. I have to get more information about that because I think they just revved up the art last night. And so, yeah, there's a bunch of people just participating. And this is probably one of the biggest, not obviously the biggest, but one of the biggest onboarding and kind of like cultural events in the space. And we've been around for 3-4 years. So this is our big shebang. So for the year. So happy to, if you have a local community, happy to support, and you can connect with me, or a local organization. I'm happy to send pizza to them. And so, yeah.
Right, sounds great. Thank you so much, Natalie, for sharing that with us and all the great work that you're doing with Pizza and Pizza Dao and all over Web3, doing all sorts of great stuff. So super cool. There's lots I could say there. And also I had some questions that I could ask for Natalie and Jake and also Jason, but also I did just put out the fractalgram group too. And we have less than 20 minutes to form consensus. And also, if possible, it's good to wrap up the respect game breakup group, maybe like 5-10 minutes early. So maybe we should focus on coming to consensus first. But of course, if anybody has any questions or comments, then feel free, or you can also save them for after we reach consensus too. You can see the link that I shared for the fractalgram group in the Zoom chat right above the links that Jake shared most recently. And I see that everybody's joined, so I'll put out the poll now. Does anybody else have any other questions that you wanted to ask before we get into it? I suppose one thing I wanted to ask Natalie is, how does I know you mentioned a couple of times that what you're building, it's like Kickstarter, but with Web3. So I'm wondering, like, particularly, I think at some point I saw your proposal, but I didn't have a chance like to read it deeply, and I heard you talk about it. But I'm curious if you could give like the high level overview, like the elevator pitch, or like just like how is it different from Kickstarter? Like how is it similar to Kickstarter, but like what exactly is like the Web3 benefit of it? And also, does it have a name? Did you mention? I'm sorry if I didn't hear that, or I missed some of these details. But does it have a name right now, or is it still in like
Yeah.
the early development stage?
I started this thing like 2 years ago. I was calling it Web3 Uncut, but like my branding girl and I are like thinking of a more like snazzy, a fancy name. And so for just a working title, it's Web3 Uncut because that's what I registered a business as in California. And so that's yeah. As far as your other question, like how is it different from Kickstarter? So on Kickstarter and Indiegogo, like oftentimes a creator has to like wait for funding. On Kickstarter, it's like all or nothing, right? And so if you don't get all the funding, if you don't have all the people to like support your project, you've basically spent a mass amount of time like raising money for your project and may not get any of it. And so for this thing, it's like I'm just using Jake as an example, the guy with the good hair. So if Jake is raising a project for like Wheaties, people could like donate whatever crypto, so we're saying optimism just for this conversation. They can donate to Jake. Jake's actually able to like make the product or the prototype or like the thing that he wants to make, or doing a festival, whatever the thing is. And then also if you're donating, and a lot of collectors I talked to like over 100 collectors across chains, and I was like, hey, like, do you want an NFT at the end? And most of them wanted an NFT as a progress report. And so Jake would actually be able to mint like, this is my progress report, and then it actually spit out NFT to collectors. And that metadata on that NFT would change over time depending on the status of the project. And so, and then also like, can we keep track of kind of projects and kind of the journey of doing that? It's actually pretty interesting to a lot of collectors. I found out. And then also like, how can we actively create the cultural layer, or like create a more robust culture layer on chain? Because it can't just be like, I want to fund these devs, and like I love my devs, but at the end of the day, like it has to be like this flywheel people that make this space go, and onboarding people. And so I'm onboarding a lot of non-Web3 people and Web3 people at the same time to actually kind of model with like in terms of patronage of the arts, and also building the cultural layer of the blockchain. And so there's a lot of ways it's different from Kickstarter, that it's more equitable, and you don't have to wait for funding. And so and we also have a lot of fraud on Kickstarter. And so how can we actually build up reputation on these like platforms, so that when I go see Jake, I know Jake, you know Jake, can we actually build a hive around to support Jake? That actually becomes like a reputation layer. The latter part of all of this is probably the most important thing. So
Fascinating. Well, okay, great. I have a much better understanding of now, and it sounds really cool. So thank you, Natalie, very much for all the great work, as well as sharing it here with us and explaining it more. I see Jason's getting excited. He's doing backflips apparently, or side flips or cartwheels. I put out the prompt, by the way, for enter your Optimism account. So if everybody could please do that, then we can get going with consensus whenever we're ready. I just did as a reply, and Jake, the way it works is you have to do it as a reply. So if you right click on that and paste in your public key there, just like me or Natalie did, you'll be able to see it there. And then Natalie, also, while everybody else is getting ready, or we have everybody, but we're just waiting for Jason now. I see that Jake had shared the GitHub repo too for ATX DAO reputation roles monorepo, which I've looked into it a lot. He's doing like really cool work. I've been following him for a long time, and watched the video you put out recently. You put out a couple of videos about it that I enjoyed watching, Jake. So thanks for that. But yeah, if you wanted to share, Natalie, any of the links that you were sharing, I don't know if there's a website live for that, but be happy to see it. And then also we're starting to curate all of the like weekly contributions and links in the Notion page too. We have a page for that, so I'd be happy to add everybody's links there as well, in addition to the Zoom and Discord. And the offer's always open for you too, of course, Jason, if you want to share the Crypt Oasis or anything like that. But also I'll get started with the poll because I just got a message from Rosemary and she said that their group is done. So I'll start up the poll 6 now. So now you can vote in it to see who should be ranked at level 6. Of course, feel free to asking questions or like that if that's helpful. But basically, this is to pick who you think did the most to help optimism. Okay, and I see rarepizzas.com. So thank you for sharing that, Natalie. I'm gonna look into this, and it looks like there's everybody submitted their votes, and there's 2 votes for me and 2 votes for Jacob. You can see that me and Natalie voted for Jacob, and Jason and Jacob voted for me. I appreciate the votes. I would encourage you to vote for Jacob. I think he's doing. Also, I don't know if I should say Jake or Jacob, so feel free to let me know if there's any way you prefer. But okay, cool. Yeah, but I appreciate the votes. I'm doing a lot, and I appreciate the respect and so forth. But Jacob is, I mean, one, he's new to the group, and I think it's nice to give extra respect to people who are new. And then I've been following Jacob actually since like 7 months ago, 8 months ago, since I saw he first did the roles and reputation project for Optimism, and he's doing a lot of really important technical development, I think. And those projects are really cool, and he also has like a great kind of attitude and like philosophical understanding that he's imbuing into it too, in addition to technical. So I think looks like maybe somebody withdrew their vote. Also, Jacob, you can also vote for yourself too if you want to withdraw your vote and vote for yourself. Then you can do that.
Cool. Well, I wish I could vote for everybody because like everybody did great things. Just chose Dan because I guess specifically on the criteria of optimism, right? But my point is I don't want to make it seem like everybody else didn't do anything great because it sounds like you guys are all doing wonderful things and like just yeah, like everybody in my eyes gets a vote. So
We don't take it personally. It's everybody gets their respects, It's so just vote and don't. I've been here like several times and it's all gravy. It's cool. So it's all love around here.
That's right. Very well said, Natalie. Thank you for also the leadership here too. Appreciate it very much. And yeah, like you said, everybody gets respect, and it's all in good fun. And we meet every week, so people can it averages out. You get more respect one week and less respect one week, but everybody gets respect, and it's a great place to share appreciation and so forth. And yeah, you're doing really cool stuff, Jake. I've been when we met in person, I told you, but I think what you're doing is like super cool. So I appreciate it a lot. And of course, I appreciate what Natalie and Jason are doing very much as well. And now we can vote for who we think should be level 5. I see
So what
Jason
is
throwing up the heart too. So
okay? So the higher the rank, the more. What's the criteria? Like, am I voting for the second best or the?
yep. Yeah. So who you think did the most, the second most for optimism? And so you got the basically first place for who did the most for optimism recently. Now who did the second most? And then with each rank that's higher, you earn about 60% more than the lower rank. Okay. And it looks like the votes are in now. And Natalie had one vote from me, and I had 3 votes from everybody else. So I suppose I'll just gracefully accept that. I really appreciate what Natalie is doing too, and I think it's really awesome. But in essence of time too, I'll just say thank you very much, and I suppose we can move on to level 4 as well. And other times I might also put up something and encourage people to vote for Natalie there because I think that she's doing really cool. But okay, and it looks like Natalie had level 4 with a 3 out of 4 consensus. Natalie voted for Jason. All right, so that means that Jason is level 3. And that means that we can post consensus results on chain, and we've had a successful respect game. I'm going to put in the group number will be 2. So now you'll see a prompt in the fractalgram Telegram app where you'll see Jacob at level 6, me at 5, Natalie at 4, Jason at 3. And you'll see the account that you entered there is autofilled. And then you can give it a thumbs up if you want. And then also where it says results can be submitted here, then click where it says here. It'll open a link to optimismfractal.web.app. Click open the link, then hit continue. And then you should see those same results pre-filled in there. And then when you log in with your Optimism account with MetaMask or whatever, then hit submit, then that'll submit it on chain. And then respect will be distributed this week according to those rankings. As long as we get at least 2/3 consensus. So at least 3 to 4 of us need to submit it on chain. So please make sure to submit it on chain within the next hour. And I think we're ready to head back to the next breakout room too. Yes, claps, claps, claps. very awesome and inspiring to see what everybody's doing. So thanks all so much for the awesome game and all the awesome work. And are we ready to head back to the community room? Sound good? Okay, cool. I will close it up then, and we'll see what everybody else is doing. So, Jake, I'm curious what you thought about Optimism Fractal, your first respect game.
Super cool. I mean, I guess, yeah, exactly as you explained it, but like, it's just a positive activity that happens weekly, and you know, yeah, it's doing what it's intending to do, which is great.
Awesome. I'm glad you enjoyed it very much, and it's there's much more it's intended to do too. You know, we have plans, but there'll be many hundreds of thousands of people here. We'll have all sorts of great things for Optimism. So there's much more that we're intending to do in the future as well. But each event, like you said, it's a great opportunity to share positivity and bring people together and all that stuff. So really glad you enjoyed it. Welcome back, everybody from room 1 too. Great to see you all. See Rosemary putting up the heart. Curious to hear how room 1 fared. If everything went well, you had a good time. Also, Jake, if you wanted to add any more thoughts, I don't know if Abraham and Rosemary and Joe and Zaal are familiar with the work. So if you wanted to briefly introduce yourself or share any other thoughts, then feel free.
Sure. I'll just do a quick introduction. I'm Jake Homanics. I do a lot of work with ATX DAO here in Austin, Texas, mostly smart contract and decentralized application development. Also just interested in retro PGF, optimism, base. I think a lot of the culture and driving forces in that ecosystem are really powerful, and glad to be a part of it and help push things further myself. And so I met Dan at ETH Denver this past month or 2 months ago, maybe at this point. He introduced me to Optimism Fractal. I'm glad I'm finally able to participate. So glad to be here. Thank you.
You're very welcome. And thank you, Jake. Jake also shared some links to some projects he's working on, and Natalie also did too, in our breakout room too. So we'll put those in. Right now they're in the Zoom chat. We'll put them in the Notion page so everybody can follow up, or Jake or anybody, if you wanted to follow up and share more links, then feel free. Jacob's also been working with HATS protocol too, which we've been exploring integrations with. And there's some really interesting stuff that we can do where people can earn respect and be able to have different capabilities and powers, like different Telegram groups or Notion pages or all sorts of different things that you can do with that. So looking forward to doing all sorts of cool collaborations. And yeah, I suppose I should transition it to, or just let everybody know that this is just about concluding the Respect game. If anybody else wanted to share any thoughts about the Respect game and how it went, then we still have 3 minutes left to for the scheduled event for the Respect game main event. And otherwise, we'll also be having another half hour for anybody who can stick around for the Optimism Fractal planning session. So maybe if anyone wants to jump in and share any thoughts, then feel free. But otherwise, maybe I'll just go ahead and just share my screen and share that transition. And if anybody does need to go at the top of the hour, then of course, feel free. And thank you so much for joining us here today. Really appreciate it. Hope that everybody's enjoying the season finale of Optimism Fractal Season 2, the 24th event. And yeah, we'll also have another half hour for anybody who wants to stick around where we can have an open discussion about Optimism Fractal. We don't really have anything scheduled now, so or I have our schedule for the planning session. We don't have a specific topic scheduled, so this has been just about the end of the main event for Optimism Fractal, and now we're moving to the planning session. I forgot to bring this up on my screen before. I was in a bit of a rush, but yeah, this is scheduled for a half hour, and this is a place to brainstorm, coordinate, and create the future of Optimism Fractal, and in general discuss anything related to optimism on your mind or anything related to fractals and respecting what's on your mind as well. Like I showed before, we have the Notion page where we have some topics and just some things that might also provide you with some inspiration as well. One of the things we've been meaning to do, and we still haven't really started doing much yet, is voting with respect on topics. We've experimented with that a lot at other fractal communities that we've been doing with for a while. We've been playing a game called agendas where we like vote on topics. So we could start doing that at some point. We have a topics database here where if you wanted, you could add a topic. For anybody who's not in this database or in this Notion page, then you can feel free to let me know and I can add you. Everybody should be able to see it. It's on the optimismfractal.com Notion. It's on optimismfractal.com now. If you just go to the top right corner and then click on Notion. So if anybody wanted to check out this Notion page and see all the different projects or get involved, then click Notion right up there and you can find it. And yeah, we're thinking of making it where people can vote on topics and stuff like that and vote with their respect, maybe on Snapshot, maybe on Notion. But right now it's kind of just open discussion about whatever we have in mind. So feel free, if you have any topics that you want to discuss, to raise your hand or share something in the chat, or probably just jump in and share whatever thoughts at any time. One thing I can just reiterate too is that, well, actually one thing I see, Zaal is here, and Zaal had mentioned that he's participating in DAO Spring, as Natalie did too. So that's something that we could discuss that just popped up on my screen. That's quite interesting going on, I think, starting in 10 days or so. And then another thing that I can just mention, just to reiterate, is that we are taking the break for the next 2 weeks. So today is April 18th, and Optimism Fractal just passed that proposal to start the 3rd season of Optimism Fractal on May 9th. And I had also mentioned before that the 4th round of retro funding was just announced, where applications are due on the May 23rd. So if anyone wants to participate in that, there's a lot of funding available. That is 30 million OP. I'm trying to find my window right now because I had it open before, but yeah, basically, if I go to Twitter, I can probably find it pretty easily. So I'll do that real quick, just as a kind of like a public service announcement here. Just go to Optimism, and then they have a great account, just Optimism, and then they just announce it here. You can find more details about it. And so encourage everybody, if they want to participate in this, to check it out. There's also a blog post too, where we had linked to in the most recent tweet from Optimystics, where you can get involved. And then there's also more details here where you can find links to the posts to learn more about it. So Yeah, that was kind of a long thing. I usually try to get my presentations all sorted and ready by the time that I'm ready to go, but my apologies, I've been a bit disorganized at the end of it, and for sure next season it'll be a bit organized better. But if anybody wants to participate in this category will reward on-chain builders who contribute to the success of optimism, and expand the reach and impact of the network by rewarding those who build across the super chain and increase demand for block space and drive value to the collective, and includes people who bring new users to the super chain, such as inviting people to Optimism Fractal events and drive network events and protocol usage. So if anybody wants to, then you have about a month to apply, and you can also create impact before then too. So that's a funding opportunity there from Optimism, and then there's going to be 3 more from contributions to the OP stack and governance and dev tooling that you can learn more about in this article. So yeah, basically we're going to be aligning the seasons with something like this. I was talking with Tadas about exactly how we'll do it, because we want to align with all these different kinds of categories of retro funding, but just wanted to kind of reiterate that funding opportunity that's available in Optimism Collective, as well as the fact that we just passed that proposal too, so that now we will be taking off the next 2 weeks and reconvening on May 9th. So with that, we're in the planning session. And I see that Rosemary said that you have confirmed that you have 3/4 consensus submitted on chain from room 1. So sounds good. Thank you for that confirmation, Rosemary. I hope that we have 3/4 as well. I haven't yet submitted it yet. If you could check that out, Rosemary, as well, and let us know in the chat, that would be appreciated. But otherwise, that's it for me. Does anybody have anything you'd like to discuss in this planning session here?
Well, I made the season finale here. So exciting. Right before spring break. How nice of me. Made it just before vacation. But I'm obviously a little bit out of the loop, Dan. Good to see you.
Good to see you too. Thanks so much for joining.
Thanks. Yeah. So maybe for me, do you already kind of have an idea of after the spring break's over, what you're jumping into right away, so I can kind of be thinking about that during my spring break?
Yes. So thank you for asking, and great to see you as always. And I love the positivity and everything I saw there. You got some claps from Rosemary and Natalie too. So I'll share my screen again, and I'll share some things that I think will be able to help you out. Because we have, for one thing, well, we have in the proposal to change the to initiate the seasonal structure and to start the 3rd season of Optimism Fractal. We have a little bit of like a hint of what is coming next. It's not fully established yet because we're not totally sure yet, and we're kind of like playing by ear, and we're kind of waiting on this announcement too to figure out exactly what would be the best thing to focus on. But what we put in this proposal was, the proposal specifically was, do you agree to start the 3rd season of Optimism Fractal on May 9th? And this was what was approved, and then it said vote yes in this proposal if you agree to start on the May 9th following a 2-week spring break. This season of Optimism Fractal will generally be aligned with the upcoming round of retro funding, which starts in May and aims to reward on-chain builders who contribute to the success of optimism. And more details can be found in this post and discussion during last week's planning session. The discussion links to a video from last week where you can see more. And then that post also links to the Discord, where I had shared like a general overview of an idea here about the seasonal structure that I like to introduce, where I talked about how I think we should basically do seasons that are aligned with retro funding, and the seasonal structure of retro funding, which is the one in May is for on-chain builders, the one in August, there's OP stack and governance, but I think governance is probably more suited than OP stack for Optimism Fractal in general, because OP stack is like really pretty deep technical development that we're not so involved with right now. And then dev tooling in October 2024. So these, maybe they'll each have 10 million OP allocated or something. We'll see how much the future rounds are. But these will all be like significant funding opportunities basically. And we're aiming to coordinate the seasons of Optimism Fractal in alignment with these. Like it'll still be generally, Optimism Fractal will still be very welcoming to everybody who wants to join and just share whatever they're doing to help optimism, or even if people aren't so involved with optimism, then everybody's still very welcome to join and just coming here and participating is a big contribution to optimism in itself. And people can still share whatever they're doing to help optimism in general. So you don't have to go along with one of these categories, but we'll also encourage people to help with on-chain building or governance or dev tooling or the OP stack if you're able to. And that could be a way to earn more funding as well if you're able to make an impact and get votes from badge holders when these rounds start. We'll also probably be aligning these with different initiatives and different kinds of fun events and games and cool kinds of incentive mechanisms to help improve impact evaluation and understand and promote public goods creators in the Optimism Collective. So for example, in last season of Retro Pitches or Retro PGF, we launched something called Retro Pitches, or I should have said Retro Funding, but we launched Retro Pitches, which are basically fun and friendly competitions where applicants presented their projects and participants rank the pitches. And so it gives people an opportunity to promote their work and provide citizens with a way to see who's doing the most hopeful work and so forth. And we're aiming to make it so people can vote with respect on these and do all sorts of fun stuff like that, so that we can have people join who are builders or governance experts and so forth. Like Joe, for example, I know that you have led a fractal, and I'm curious to hear what the how that's going if you're still doing it. I know you're working with Upland and Alien Worlds and so forth like that. So you might be interested in pursuing some of these opportunities. And of course, you're very welcome to join every week. And I'd be very happy to help you earn funding for all the great work that you're doing, as well as everybody else who's participating here and everybody else in general who doesn't yet know about Optimism Fractal. We can invite them. So we'll be hosting events like retro pitches, maybe in the planning sessions, where we can invite people in addition to the respect game, where we're always evaluating impact and so forth. And then we're also working on this initiative called the Respect Trees too, that Tadas has been working on for the past year or so now, which is a framework designed to facilitate collective decision-making, set priorities, and allocate resources. Specifically, like it works alongside the council, which makes like kind of big global decisions, but this can be, Respect Trees can be used to make smaller decisions, like for example, prioritizing different projects that we want or different tasks that we want in a way that we can rank different projects amongst each other. And we can also, what we're planning to do is rank like contributions for the Optimism Collective as well, to see who's helping Optimism the most and to help the funding allocation from the Optimism Collective too. So these are like some of the initiatives that we're working on. Tadas recently shared a design here. You can see more about this at optimistics.io/respect trees and optimistics.io/retro pitches. And then there's this article that Tadas had written with a design about how exactly this could work. So this is still kind of under construction, but basically it's up to us to decide, and it's up to us with our consensus process to figure out how we'll align this season. Like for example, I was speaking with Tadas, and Tadas at first wasn't sure if he wanted to approve the proposal because he said he wasn't totally sure if he wanted to align it with just the May season of retro funding, because to some extent it makes sense to focus a lot on, or maybe more on, the governance season, because if we focus a lot more on the governance, then people can earn more for by creating a larger impact basically before that starts in August. So it's up to us basically. Those are some ideas that we have and some general things that we're planning to do in the upcoming season. And then going back to this article too, which is also linked in this proposal, of course, you can find the Discord post or the Twitter post that I shared and find all these links. But this has more details about retro funding in general and what it is and the seasonal structure and what exactly the Optimism Collective is looking for example, in the governance round that's coming up in August and the dev tooling round and so forth. And then also Optimism and us have also published more about retro funding in general. So if anybody wanted to learn more, you can go to, for example, optimism.io and then go click on the top where it says retro funding. Did that answer your question, Joe? Was there anything else that you wanted to ask or anything else unclear about that?
No, that was super thorough. I totally appreciate it. Great job. I feel so informed. Although I feel like that was a ton of information, so I need to kind of go through it individually, but thanks. Good job.
All right. Well, sounds great. Thanks, Joe. I'm glad to hear that's helpful for you. And yeah, there's a lot of information to absorb. I've been learning a lot ever since getting involved with Optimism last year, and encourage you to check it out and dive in. I also have this optimism.io/retropgf here where you can learn more about how Optimism is changing the way impact is rewarded with retroactive public goods funding. And you can learn more about this initiative. We have more on optimistics.io/blog too. Feel free to reach out to me if you have questions, or we can also discuss it kind of week by week at the Optimism Fractal events too. And then all these videos are published. So if you want to listen again to our discussion here, then you can find it. Rosemary always posts it in the Discord. And also what we're aiming to do too is we're aiming to make show notes each week with like transcript. We have transcripts and timestamps from each event that are always in the show notes. But over time, we want to make it so there's like better and better summaries. I know Rosemary actually just put out a really good summary in the governance forum too. So I don't know, Rosemary, if you want to share that as well. So maybe Joe could look into that afterwards, because
Okay.
Rosemary had linked to our previous videos as well as the blog article and stuff like that. Thank you very much.
What a team.
That's right. We got a dream team here. And see Natalie's putting up the heart. Also, Rosemary just sent me a message saying that so far the room that I was in only has 2 submissions out of 4. So well, we need to get to at least 3 out of 4 for 2/3 consensus. I haven't submitted yet because I'll be able to submit it shortly. But actually, I suppose never mind. It's not a big deal because I'll be able to submit it in about 20 minutes. But if anybody from our room didn't submit it, and if you're able to, then that would be appreciated as well.
I just had to buy some more op, and I don't know, like I have a continuous thing on the spam wallet, and so if you can't, that'd be great. I just had to buy all. Yeah, another story. So.
Okay, well, no problem. I'll take care of it in 20 minutes. Also, I don't know why you're buying the op. I'm guessing you mean OP, but to make the transaction, you should just need ETH, and it should just be like quite little, like
Well,
just
no, I
like,
meant ETH. Yeah, I meant ETH.
okay.
No, it won't allow me to. It's either my wallet doesn't work sometimes, or it's on the fritz, and so today is on the fritz. So I did have to buy some ETH that I did not have in that thing. So yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay, sounds good.
Mercury's in retrograde. Don't worry. It's not your fault.
Mercury and micro braids. That's what it is today.
I've heard of that phrase. I don't know exactly what that means. Mercury and retrograde.
It's like kind of it's astrological, right? I always say, I don't know if you believe in the hippy dippy stuff, but basically Mercury's like the messenger. And so when Mercury's in retrograde, basically going backwards, all communications, emails, contracts, everything is there's a lot of mix-ups and little weird things that happen. Also, they say it's good to not finalize any contracts or deals or make big purchases during retrograde. Like it's time to like review it and figure things out. And then once it's out, boom, pull the trigger kind of thing.
All right, very interesting. I see Rosemary not along and putting the heart. So thanks, Joe, for sharing some hidden knowledge, at least to me. Very interesting. I see Natalie unmuting too. Feel free to jump in, Natalie, if you want to share anything.
I was gonna say I just submitted it because sometimes it does not. It's like go to Optimism, go to the other planet, but just allow me to submit. So I think we should have forum. So.
Okay, sounds great. Thank you very much, Natalie, for submitting that. I'll also still submit it too, so we'll have unanimous consensus on chain to be extra sure. But really appreciate you being able to put that up. And Joe, I see you're unmuted too. Is there anything else you wanted to add or ask here?
No, sorry.
No problem at all. Thanks so much, Joe, for everything that you're doing. I really appreciate it, and appreciate questions and all the knowledge. Curious, we have about 15 minutes left too. So I haven't heard much from Abraham or Zaal. Hopefully you're both doing well. Great to see Abraham. It's been a couple weeks. I'm curious what you've been up to. Also, I see Jason's unmuted too. So I see Abraham unmuted. What's going on, Abraham? Anything on your mind?
Hey, yeah. Sorry, I haven't been around. I've been on vacation, and then I also got into an interview process. So I was studying pretty hard on some code stuff and trying to level up. So the good part of it is that I got a lot of React knowledge. So now I'm pretty conversant in React. So I'm hoping that can help me to contribute to this group somehow. I still have not gotten a good thorough review on the list of stuff that could potentially be developed. So I'm I'm hoping that I have some more time coming up in the next couple of weeks, but it's just been pretty busy on this end. That interview process was not expected. So yeah, but I'll try and jump in there and kind of look over things and maybe shoot you some thoughts at some point, probably next week.
Okay, cool. Well, sounds good. Thank you. And congrats too. That all sounds awesome. Hope that you enjoyed the break, and I hope that the interview process went well too. And great to hear. I see we bring out obstacles the way. That's right. That's a great stoic phrase. And yeah, the app for Optimism Fractal is built in React. And so and I know React's a very popular front-end development software too. I know that that I've been speaking with via the DAOs about front end for things we're doing, and I think that that's a really useful tool in general for developing stuff. So that's all great to hear, and I'm looking forward to hearing more from you whenever you have a chance. But hopefully you're also enjoying hope you're enjoying the time and not working too hard and so forth as well.
Yeah, I'm trying to get some little micro moments of relaxation. There's a lot going on. It's all good.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so was the break help that too? I think you said you were on vacation too, so I guess you stacked up your breaks earlier, and then also hope the interview went well. I don't know if you want to share with that either or anything else, but happy to hear from you if you want to share any more details on any of that.
Well, I went on vacation with my girlfriend's family. So it was a vacation, but it was also like a lot of moving parts. So, but the interview process, I ended up like I did a coding review and I'm waiting to hear back. It's been a couple of days. I'm just kind of hoping that I hear some good information coming back and do a final interview in the next week or two. So pretty stoked about that. If that ends up being, it's for a position that does like helping with MetaMask NFT stuff with with their portfolio product. So should be pretty cool.
Oh, very cool. Yeah, I listened to an interview recently with people on the MetaMask portfolio team, and yeah, that seems like it'd be a great position to have. I see Jake saying good luck, and Rosemary saying I hope you get it. So yeah, I hope you get it too, and wish you the best with that.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm pretty psyched. I really hope it goes through.
Okay, well, me too. Yeah, if anyone wants to jump in too, I feel like I'm talking a lot here and people putting in comments, but feel free to jump in if anyone wants to share anything. I see Jason going, no. Jason enjoying the chilling. Natalie saying, let's
No, me, I'll look back. I just will, right? So like if there's a void, I will. But meanwhile, other stories are better, probably.
What was that last thing you said? Other stories or
Yeah, other stories, other interests, other questions, things like that. I don't know. I have a few thoughts to share, but they're not urgent.
Okay, well, yeah, feel free. It's also nice to hear a little bit from everyone too. I see Natalie writing, what's that? Let us borrow 0.0005 ETH. Is that ETH or
ETH.
ETC? Oh,
That's
okay.
ETH. That was my autocorrect.
X, etc. 0.005, etc.
I mean that too.
Yeah. Okay, sounds good. Well, I think that's addressed to Abraham. So Abraham, that's a suggestion if you want to spare 0.005 ETH if you get the big bucks from the job. But just an idea, and maybe
Okay.
Natalie can chip in some pizza or something.
But maybe that ETH that I bought all that long time ago, I'll start with that. I'll give you a little bit of that there.
DoorDash is expensive. I need to feed my habit.
I hear you.
Okay, cool. Well, yeah, very fun. There's only 10 minutes left for allocate. We could go a bit longer if we want, or we could wrap it up early if we want. But this has been a very fun. So I kind of forgot to mention, but something that Rosemary put out in the tweet that she shared and the Farcaster cast that she shared was that we're like celebrating basically. She put this beautiful picture. Maybe I'll give a shout out to Rosemary too. We haven't heard much from Rosemary, so I'd be happy to hear from you. But she wrote, join us today for the final Optimism Fractal event of the second season, where we'll celebrate public goods creators and welcome our 2-week spring break. And then she made this beautiful picture too with balloons and fireworks and so forth too. So it's nice to see everybody having a fun time and it's kind of celebratory mood and everything like that. So yeah, just want to put it out there too. We were thinking about maybe playing like some special games at the end of seasons too. That's one of the cool things about seasons. Rosemary's put out the balloon that we can experiment with, like, end of season parties or celebrations, still while promoting public goods creators and hoping to evaluate impact and build a better internet and achieve optimistic and everything like that. But nice to see everybody having a good time throughout the season and our fun games. Really appreciate it. I should just say thank you too. Thank you everybody so much for making the first 2 seasons of Optimism Fractal so special. Really appreciate it. It's been super cool meeting everybody, many people for the first time. Just met Natalie, for example, I think 2 months ago for the first time, and it's been such a pleasure spending time with you. I could say similar things about a lot of people. Some people I've known for a while now, some people new, but really appreciate what everybody's been, how everybody's been helping Optimism Fractal, helping optimism, and making great friends and doing all the great things that we're doing along the way. So just want to say thank you everybody so much. It's been a huge pleasure for season 2, and I'm very excited for season 3 and to spend it with you. And like I said to Joe before, it's up to us to decide how we want to structure it too. So I'm happy to help lead it with Optimistics, and we have a lot of cool plans, but it's also very much a community-driven effort, and we have the proposal system and the consensus process. That's another thing we should do too. Each week we put out the registration poll. So if anybody wants to, I think Rosemary said she's going to start putting that out. So if anybody else wants to put out a registration poll, then feel free. But otherwise, anybody can register to be a part of the Optimism Fractal Council and make decisions like we did, for example, to start the season 3, or if anybody had some other idea about how to coordinate our season 3, that's something I should have mentioned in response to Joe. Like, people can sign up for the council every week. That's the way it works, basically. There's that poll, you can sign up, and the top 6 people who sign up, who have respect, can participate on the council. I don't think we've actually had 6 people sign up yet. Maybe we had it once, but usually there's like 4 or 5 people sign up. So if you've earned any respect, then you can feel free to sign up and participate in the council and help make those decisions. Or of course, too, if you want to just join the events and have a good time, then and let other people to figure out how to coordinate and so forth, then you're very welcome to do so as well. But the option's there for anybody who wants to help coordinate and help decide what we'll do in the future seasons. Rosemary, we haven't heard from you. I see you're writing something about the balloon chain project. Oh, okay, interesting.
Yes, that Joe told us about it in our room, which is quite thematic with the balloon celebration.
Very
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. Let me see if I can put a photo into our chat. Let's see. Here's a cute photo of a little kid with it. I think this is good. Sorry, no editing. Just throwing it in there.
Okay, yeah, it seems quite thematic, being the end of the season celebration. And up there's a little girl hanging out with balloons. Very cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice to see. Is she celebrating the 2nd season of Optimism Fractal, I assume?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, awesome. Thanks for sharing, Joe.
Yeah.
And nice to hear the cool things you're working on too. I know you're doing all sorts of interesting art stuff as well. We haven't heard from I don't mean to cut that off, so feel free to share more, Joe, but I was also just reminded we haven't heard from Zaal too. Curious if you want to share anything. And also one thing I wanted to mention to Abraham too. I'm not sure, Abraham, if you've mentioned if you met Jake before, but I know you expressed interest in working with Hats Protocol maybe a couple weeks ago. Also, by the way, I should say, of course, no problem that you haven't been able to make it for the past weeks. I think in the beginning you said like that you want to join more. I look forward to seeing you whenever you're able to make it. But very happy for all the cool stuff you're doing with the vacation and the interview and stuff like that. But yeah, I remember maybe a month ago you mentioned that you're really interested in working with Hats Protocol and integrating into the projects that you're working with, like for example, Science Unbounded, and we're working on with Optimism Fractal. Jake had shared a link to a roles and reputation system that he's working on. He actually just joined the Optimism Fractal and Hats Protocol Telegram group that we have going on there too, and he's posted in, yeah, if you've been following the chats there, he's built a front end that works with the Hats Protocol, where people can like easily assign hats based on their roles and reputation. He's doing all sorts of cool stuff, so he's somebody who you might want to connect with, both in terms of building with Hats Protocol, and yeah, however you want to do that. I kind of want to throw that out there in case you guys hadn't met or weren't familiar with each other's work, but because both doing really cool stuff and are interested in the same kind of project with Hats Protocol.
Yeah, that sounds great. I'd love to check a little bit more out on that. I have 2 projects that one I'm going to design like a reward system for my day job. And another one, the stuff that I'm doing in Pakistan, I probably could use it on that as well. So yeah, I mean, just having a system to assign roles and be able to validate them is amazing. So yeah, I'm sorry I missed you at ETH Denver. Actually, I was there, and somehow we didn't cross paths, I guess. But yeah, hopefully we can connect sometime, Jake.
Absolutely. Yeah, ETH Denver was just a wild, busy, overwhelming experience for everybody. So, but
yeah, that's cool.
Yes, reach out. Hopefully, we can get in contact after this call and see how we can get hats integrated into stuff.
That's good. Thanks.
Yeah, Jake had also shared some videos too. I don't know, Jake, if you wanted to share those, maybe follow up with Abraham at some point about it, or perhaps I can also curate it because we have a project at Optimism Fractal Notion page that's about exploring integrations with HATS protocol. I'm not sure if I got the chance to add Jake's videos. I think I do have a page about the project he's working on with roles and reputations, and he previously did share the GitHub repo, which I can see. So maybe I'll just go ahead and just reshare that in the chat in case you want to check out that.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, recommend you guys to follow up. I was able to meet Jake at ETH Denver and hanging with Abraham a lot during ETH Denver too, and we had all sorts of good conversations and stuff like that. And so I'm sure there's lots of opportunities for collaborations. I see Zaal says got to run. OP Fractal is going places. Awesome season 2 finale. Great to hear, Zaal. If you want to share anything before you to say anything out loud before you go, then feel free. Otherwise, we should probably all wrap it up pretty soon.
Yeah, I just wanted to say it's been an awesome time. I haven't been here the last couple of weeks. It's been crazy after NFT NYC, but it's always good coming back and chatting with the crew, and I'm excited to see what progress has been happening. Definitely want to chat with you on the back end, Dan, about a couple other things. But yeah, it's always great to be here. Always great to hear the exciting ideas we're coming up with.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much, Zaal. I really appreciate it. I'm looking forward to following up with you. Feel free to reach out with me anytime, and we can discuss more. You're doing really cool stuff with the Zaal, and hope that everything went well at NFT NYC too. I know you had some really big plans that were exciting there, so looking forward to collaborating with you, and really appreciate all your support. And hope that you have an excellent day. And I can't wait for season 3 either. I see people putting out fire and balloons and hearts on your comments in the chat. So thanks so much, Zaal. And Zaal with the heart. We got 2 minutes left scheduled. I suppose we could wrap it up anytime. Jason's putting up all sorts of hand signals and gratitude and stuff like that. Great to see Jason. Does anybody else want to? I see Jason's.
I'm ready for spring break.
Ready for spring break. Let's go to spring break, right?
It's been a hard semester.
It's been a hard semester, yeah. Ready to go. Maybe we'll have some parties on spring break or something. I'm excited for it. I'm excited to see you all back on May 9th too for season 9 as we get back into the semester. I don't know what you call it, semester. Back in the season.
No, please no. Please no.
Please no. Yeah, not a semester. I like Natalie's suggestion throwing at the pizza party. I'm going to give that a fire over here. Pizza party sounds good. Natalie with the Pizza Dao, she can maybe help cook pizzas. Okay, is there anything else? Does anybody want to? Was anything else you want to say, Jason, or any of you else want to say anything else before we wrap it up, or we can wrap it up whenever too as well.
All the same, just encouraging thoughts, you know. I don't want to use them last minute. So.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Jason. Really appreciate it. And I see Jason, or I see Joe putting up this too.
There we go.
I think we're getting ready to go. I see Jake clapping. Thank you.
Season 2.
2 for season 2. That's right. We're all excited with 2. It always works at peace sign too. I don't know if you know that, but it works as a peace sign and also as a cool sign that Abraham's doing too. So, all right. I suppose now is a good time to wrap it up then. Thanks everybody so much for the amazing season, for the amazing event. Really appreciate it. And I'm super excited to see you all again in season 3 on May 9th. Feel free to share any comments in the Discord if you want to ask any questions or anything like that. We can keep on talking throughout the break and everything like that. And then we have a very exciting next season up ahead of us. So thanks all so much. If you want, we could do a countdown. 3, 2, 1, go Optimism Fractal to sign off. Sound good?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay. 3, 2, 1, 0. Go.
Go
Optimism.
Bye, y'all.
All right. Thanks all. See you on May 9th. Happy season 2. Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks.